How you doing, guys? It's Mark from Homestead, and today we're going to be talking about chickens. So I've been asked a lot of questions recently because of the egg prices and the egg apocalypse of 2025 and the whole chicken thing with the bird flu and whatnot. And so a lot of folks have been thinking about getting into chickens for themselves. I just recently, this week, picked up some layer chicks, and I just kind of wanted to go over how I set up the brooder with them. What adult chicks look like. Let me get this little piece of a little tiny piece of wood chip on them. But with these chickens, like how I set up their brooder and what these chickens look like when they're adults and everything like that, and setting up a coop and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. We'll go over that, and then at the end I'll give you an update on how our piglets are doing, because you know, a couple weeks back we got some new piglets, and I'll show those to you guys if you haven't seen them before. All right, so this is the brooder that I built. I built this with plywood and 2x4s, and it's got a tin roof on it, and it's right next to our shed, and so that really helps out. And it's also inside of our backyard that's fenced in, so that our dogs can be back here and, hey, what are you eating? So our dogs can be back here and kind of keep predators away. So I'm gonna put him back. And so I got 10 chicks in here. I've got the gray ones are sapphire gems, and then the yellow ones there are buff Orpingtons, and those are laying chicks. So these ones are going to get big, they're going to lay eggs every day, everything's going to be good. So I've got a thermometer back here, it tells you what temperature it is, and I have my my heat lamp, which I have the wire run, bored a hole into the side of the fence or the side of the shed there, so that way I can run the electric for that. I've got a simple waterer here, and then I have a feed trough that I keep chick feed in, and then I keep this thing heavily wood chipped. So there's a lot of good, nice thick layer wood chips in here. Is with this particular coop that I set it up, I have a door here so that I can open this up. You know what I mean? If I do these both sides here, I can pull this out, and I can actually sweep out all the wood chips to clean it. And these wood chips, since they've been pooped on by these birds, it makes really good compost for the garden once it breaks down and you compost it. So that's just one of the methods here. You're going to keep your chicks in here until they're pretty good size and they're well feathered out. So that's going to take roughly about a month for layer birds, maybe a little less, but roughly like 6 to 8 weeks in, these birds are going to have a lot more feathers, and they're going to be able to get out of the brooder. They're not going to need the heat lamp, and they're going to be good to go. So they stay together, they huddle for warmth and everything on their own, but I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and I'm going to put the heat lamp back down, and you can see how I set this thing up. Right now it's March, so we've had a few nights where it's like in the 30s. Right now it is 68 out here in the coop. So everybody's good right now, but let's go ahead and get this closed up, and I'll show you guys how this thing works. So let me just do this. So you take these things off these nails here. This is kind of stuck together and warped a little bit, but these go down. I got 2 different doors on here, and then what I like to do, put this down, and then I clip it. Make sure no raccoons use their little fingies to get these things open. And then this one, same thing. You just pull this down here. This goes down, take your clip off, and put it back on. So this thing, nobody can get into that. It's nice and locked in. You want to make sure you use the wire mesh here. That's like, I don't know what this is, maybe ½ an inch. That way animals can't get in here and get them. If you use chicken wire, things can still get in. Raccoons can still reach in with chicken wire because it's a little bit bigger and their hands can get through. So then I'm going to take my heat lamp, I'm going to put my heat lamp back down like this. And so it sits like that. When they get a little bit bigger, or if it's in the summertime, I have nails for different levels of where I keep the lamp hooked up to kind of regulate the temperature better, because you don't want it too hot in here where they'll die, and you don't want it too cold. So here's another thing I do at night when it gets really cold, and I'll show you what I do. So at nighttime, I take this this moving blanket that I have. It's always good to have a couple of these, leave them around, because there's always stuff you can do with them. Fold this thing up. What I do is I put this on over the coop, partially, not all the way, right? And this thing's made out of wool, right? So it's not going to catch fire as easily as something else would. I take some rocks and I weigh it down with these rocks, and then that way the heat tends to stay in here a lot better. So at nighttime, this is how I set it up, and the heat stays in here better, and they survive, and they do pretty well. So like I said, past couple weeks, it's been in the 30s at night. So hey, what are you eating? These dogs are nuts. So this has actually really been good, and it's worked out really well for us. So that's how we set up our brooder. We got our little chicks here that are a week old, and then I'll show you once they get bigger what you should do and how you should introduce them to the flock of your other chickens. So let's go ahead and show you the big girls. All right, girls, come on. All right, let's go see the chickens. Oh, the chickens are already out. Shoot. They're probably gonna run away from me because I have the camera. But these are our 4 laying chickens that we have right now, and then our rooster. So with these guys, I used to have, I think, 12 chickens total, so 11 layers and then 1 rooster. And I lost a lot of them to foxes and stuff like that over the past couple weeks. So this is all I have right now, which is why I bought those 10 chickens, those 10 chicks. So the roosters, thing about roosters are really cool. They help your flock survive for the most part. They're very aggressive, no matter what. Every rooster I've ever had, except for John Wayne, which was a really good rooster that I had, and he was not aggressive to people, but he was really good about keeping the flock safe. He ended up dying, the only one who died in a fox attack, and he put up a good fight because there's a lot of fox fur around. So peace be upon him, Mr. John Wayne. Thank you for your service. So let me show you guys. So this is our coop for our laying chickens. So this is like an Amish made coop. It came with the house. I built my own in the past. If you want advice on how to build a really good coop, watch one of my videos. I'll put the link in the description. It's how I built a pretty sweet and simple, easy to build chicken coop to keep your laying chickens. So go ahead and watch that video because it's pretty good, and it's still, in my opinion, better than this coop. But I left it with the old house when I sold it. The people that moved in said they wanted to keep it, so I left it with the house. So this is the coop. I have a gate on here, and then I have my run. This is 5-foot like welded wire fencing with T-posts, and then I have a gate on here, a nice simple gate, and I added extra wire on top with zip ties to keep them from getting out when I don't want them to get out. I have a simple waterer here. So this is like a 5-gallon water. This thing's awesome. It'll last about a week. And then I hung the food from this cool contraption that I made with 2x4s and then a single metal like roof thing. And so you can kind of see the structure and how I built it. And that keeps you can hang it low, and then it also keeps it dry from the rain because you don't want that getting wet and moldy. It's disgusting. I keep this heavily wood chipped, and then this is the coop. So I have this automatic door on here. I keep a stick in here so that nothing can open this, like bears, because we have bears on our property. It looks like we might have some eggs in the back there. So I keep this heavily wood chipped, and I pull all the wood chips out and then compost the manure and stuff and all the wood chips, and then I just put more stuff in there, which I have to do that probably this week again. I use these metal trash cans to keep their feed in because it keeps the water out and it keeps all the critters out. And then I also have scratch. And so what that scratch is just like, you know, loose corn and all sorts of like seeds and stuff like that you throw out, and it, you know, allows them to kind of scratch into the ground and pick it up and eat it. All right. So when it comes to the chickens laying eggs, what you want to do is you want to get you some of these, like this looks like an egg, right? But I put a little X on here because it looks too much like an egg. And so this is a dummy egg. It's like ceramic. And what you do is you keep this in here so it tells the chickens where to lay their eggs. So we got 3 eggs right here. We only have 4 chickens, so that's not bad for 3 eggs today. So I'm going to keep these. So I used to have 2 dummy eggs in here, and somebody, her name will not be mentioned, but she thought it was a real egg, and she was like, why does this egg feel different than the other eggs? And so she decided to feed it to the pigs because she didn't think she should bring it in the house. And so she put it in the area where the pigs are, and the pigs are smart enough not to eat it. So there was just this random egg that I ended up hitting with the brush hog and destroying. But just make sure you mark them with a Sharpie, and that won't happen. Zitzen. That, what? Don't talk back to me. Zitzen. Zitzen. Oh, that Platz and a Zitzen. That's good dogs. Good dogs. What do we say to the people? We say like, subscribe, and comment, right? Good dog. All right, let's go check out the pigs. Hey, pigs. All right, they're doing good. Doing really good. So they've been sleeping in their house. They got their water, which I should probably change out. They just get their faces so dirty from rooting up in the ground, and then all that dirt ends up in their water. But overall, they're doing great. We've been, feeding them twice a day and giving them, we just gave them a bunch of strawberries this morning and all sorts of food scraps and stuff like that. So they're happy. So with chickens, that's really it. I mean, they're such a good animal to have. They are such an asset to your homestead or to your house or wherever you are. If you're not homesteading, if you're in any kind of suburban area, just don't get a rooster, because then your neighbors will probably complain at the all the time. But chickens are great. I highly advise people to get chickens. If you garden, they make really good nitrogen-rich manure that you can add to your compost and then to your garden. And that stuff really helps stuff grow. And then also, of course, the thing we all like, which is eggs. And then worst comes to worst, or when your eggs, the chicken maybe lays all its eggs already or has stopped producing as much, one of the things that you can do is get rid of the chicken, and you could, process the chicken yourself and just throw it in a stew. Egg layers don't necessarily have the same meat quality as designated meat birds like Cornish crosses or like the Freedom Rangers, the Red Rangers, the red broilers, whatever, all these different names from different companies. But those ones are more designed specifically to be a meat bird, and they taste a little bit better, but there's nothing wrong with eating one of your layer chickens. They taste pretty good too. It's all about the way you prepare it and how you do it. But I hope this video was helpful. Like I said, I've got a few questions from friends, family, and stuff like that on, how to raise chickens, or we want to get into chickens, like we're going to need your help, like blah, blah, blah. So I just wanted to make this video to make it pretty clear to people and try to give as much advice in a short amount of time as I can. And, you can reach out to me at, I'll put my email in the description below, as well as our website where you can check out some of the stuff we have. We also have like shirts and stuff, which have the logo on the front and back, as well as hats like this one and some snapbacks and stuff like that, that you can order and it'll ship right to your house. And finally, just make sure you like, subscribe, and share the video, and just try to get, that kind of stuff out there. It really helps us out a lot. I don't know where these Goombas are going. What are you doing? Anyways, we'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for joining.